Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
Happy weekend to you. Vikings Vent Line. Rolling on a Sunday, as we always do during the offseason. What's going on, everybody? Declan Goff here, executive producer at Purple Daily. Happy to talk with a couple of Vikings fans here, and Brandon and Austin, we're about to join me here in just a couple minutes here on Vikings Vent Line. We do this show during the regular season of Vikings games. Mackie, Judd, and myself love to welcome on Vikings fans to talk about the Vikings games the moment after it happens. It's the most fan-friendly and interactive show in all of the Vikings land, and we love to talk to you guys and to hear from you. So we also do this show during the offseason. There's plenty of stuff to still talk about. Obviously, we're kind of in a little bit of the awkward phase of the offseason, right, where the mini camp's finally over. It's like 6 weeks until training camp. So we entered like the only real lull of that NFL offseason, but there's still plenty to talk about, and I love talking to Vikings fans. And if you would like to get on in a future episode of Vikings Vent Line, shoot me an email. It's vikingsventline@gmail.com. Vikingsventline@gmail.com. I see a list of people that love to send me invites. Shoot me another one if you've sent me one before, and I haven't gotten back to you. People like to drop out last second, so shoot me an email. I'll gladly put you in queue. I'll try to get you on during this offseason, and then during the regular season, of course, you're always welcome on with Mackie, Judd, and myself to talk Vikings, and we're excited to hear from you. So please shoot me an email. Vikingsventline@gmail.com. Of course, this show is presented by Surly Brewing and TCL Television. Enjoy more of what you love with TCL, one of the world's best consumer electronic brands, which has a new lineup of award-winning TVs delivering the most entertainment, stunning resolution, all at an affordable cost, and more. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL, and learn more at TCL.com. And of course, Surly Brewing. It's summertime finally here in Minnesota, and if you're in the Twin Cities, head on over to Surly Brew Hall. You get the Surly Supreme, get a Surly Furious, get a Drips and Drops, get a Havoc machine. There's plenty of options at Surly Brewing to enjoy in the summer months here. Finally, we've been waiting all season long for summer, right? And Surly Brew Hall is a great place, or just go up by your local liquor store. There's plenty of Surly Brewing products at your disposal there. All right, pleasantries aside, let's get our guys on here. Let's get our guys Brandon and Austin on to talk a little purple. I'm excited to talk to these two dudes. They've been eagerly waiting to get in on Vikings Vent Line. I'm excited to have you guys on the show. Brandon, where are you based? Are you here in the Twin Cities? You outside Minnesota? Where are you at?
Yeah, so I'm actually in St. Paul, the east side of St. Paul. So I don't know if you know, by Sunray. It's a big shopping center. So a couple blocks away from there. So not too far.
I grew up on the east side too. I grew up on White Bear and Upper Afton, so I'm like right by. I grew up right by Battle Creek, so I know exactly where Sunray is. A lot of bowling at Sunray Lanes and all that stuff, man. I know exactly your neck of the woods.
About 5 minutes from me, so maybe even shorter.
Okay, Austin, what about you, man? Where you hanging out in?
Well, I'm originally from Turtle Mountain Bandit Chippewa Indian Reservation out of Belcourt, North Dakota. I currently reside in Bismarck, North Dakota, which is the state capital of North Dakota. And I've been on Vent Line a few times this year. Pretty excited about it.
Nice, man. Well, appreciate you guys having on. Obviously, you've been tortured Vikings fans, right, your entire lives here. So whether you're in North Dakota, whether you're in Minnesota, I'm always eager to hear where Vikings fans are coming from. Boys, let's start off with this one. I sent over a couple prep questions to you guys. I'm curious if you guys think this team can be a double-digit win team, because it seems like Vegas and a lot of odds makers are kind of just smacking them right in that 8 to 9 win range. A little too afraid to put them into the 10 wins or more category. Brandon, I'll start with you. Do you think the Vikings in 2022 can be a double-digit win team?
High expectations, yes. Going with about 10-7. I think it has to do Kirk Cousins in that offensive line. So if they hold up, I don't think we'd have a problem making 10-7 at all. It's just that new scheme. I just wonder how that new scheme is going to work with Kevin there. I know there's going to be a lot of opportunity for better offense, not more of the same plays over and over and over again, more passing on third down instead of the handoff to Dalvin Cook up the gut for about 3 yards every third down. So I'd say about 10-7 for them, give or take maybe 9 wins, but I'm going with 10-7.
You know, I was talking with Mackie and Judd on the Friday episode of Purple Daily and 4-Question Friday, and we were just kind of talking about barometers for the Vikings this season, and it just seems like even if they don't get to the double-digit wins, you brought up the point, can this offense kind of carry them? Can this offense be more dynamic? Can it be more exciting and fun? Can they consistently be a top 10 offense, at least at the very end, whether they win double digits or not, just to make this team more exciting. Yeah, you brought up a good point of 3 yards and ground and pound with Dalvin Cook. Like, they got to figure out better ways to get more creative in offense and not be so predictable.
Absolutely.
But 10-7, yeah, I feel like 10-7 is realistic. I don't know if they can cross that threshold. Austin, I'm not sure what you think, but do you think the Vikings can be a double-digit win team in 2022?
I think they can be a double-digit win team. It's just kind of weird that I put 10-7 as well. It's it just really depends if everybody stays healthy. There's going to be injuries throughout the season. Every NFL team has them. It just depends at what positions they are. If it's going to be in the defensive side, if we have a defense that bends but doesn't break, only allow field goals, high turnover rate, I think we'd be all right. In KOC, it's going to be his first year figuring out his game management situation type stuff. I'm not sure if he's going to have any help with that or if he's going to do it all himself. I'm just interested to see how his situational game management will be, compared to what we've seen the last 4 or 5 years out of the Vikings. And it's a tough NFC. We all know that. It's a lot of great teams out there. I say we're on the outside looking in, wild card round. Maybe we'd have to win our division, NFC North, go through Green Bay, have that first round home playoff win, and get our confidence up. And who knows what happens once we're in the dance? Who knows? We all know what Kirk is. A lot of teams out there don't know what their quarterback is.
Mm-hmm.
We should kind of be grateful to know what he is. He's a good, safe quarterback. And it's all I got on that.
Yeah, it just seems like what the floor is with Kirk, and you kind of, a lot of Vikings fans kind of want him to be even more cerebral, right? Like, he has the statistics to back it up. Like, you can pinpoint almost any stat and find one that really supports the Kirk Cousins narrative. But then when you watch it day in, day out, it's now year 5 of Kirk Cousins, and you'd like to see him still take that next step. And is there another gear that he hasn't been utilized yet with Kevin O'Connell that can kind of unlock Kirk and make him that quarterback that is now not just a fringe top 10 dude, but a legitimate top 10 guy that leans, as a coach, that leans into his skill set and makes this offense even more dynamic. Austin, you brought up too, can the defense be that bend not break, right? Can it be better than it was in 2022? It just seems like they're implementing, just judging by comments from the players at practice over the last couple of weeks, that they're implementing like these new schemes and they're trying to get more creative, right? They want to confuse the opposing offense, where Zimmer at one point I think had a really good defense, and we saw the evidence right there, but then it eroded quickly, right? Like, they just became such a sieve the last few years on the defensive side of the ball, and they became very predictable, and teams were picking them apart. I think if Daniil is there, I don't know what you guys think, but I think if Daniil and Zadarius stay healthy, like, that defense at least should be able to get after the quarterback. Not sure what you guys think. Brandon, I'll start with you. Do you think that this defense can be a little bit better than it was last season?
Yes, especially with the new 4-3 in place. I think with Daniil being able to line up with that outside linebacker position and being able to rush on 2s instead of a 3-point, I think it'd be very, very interesting to see how him and Zadarius come looking off the edge. And I think our new backfield with Andrew Booth and Lewis Seen, just hopefully they can cover some ground and give us some time to actually get after the quarterback. I think if we can get after the quarterback easy, we can be a top 5, top 10 defense for sure. But we have to get through that offensive line. That's our biggest thing, I feel, is not getting sacks when we really need them and making them secure tackles.
Yeah. Austin, what do you think, man? Do you think that defense, you briefly said can be bending, not break, but do you think that there's another gear or another type of their defense that can be better than it was the last few seasons?
Well, realistically, we just don't know. But what I can see is that we have a lot of veterans with a lot of youth, and a lot of fresh legs out there running around. They're going to make mistakes out there. We can't expect them to be a number 1 defense in the NFL without actually knowing how they're going to handle this scheme and all the things that go into that. But realistically, I think we'll be, right on the outside of top 10. And if it goes to hell, it'd probably be the lower 20s, and who knows what to expect with this team. We can't really have our expectations that high anymore. And, once you've been through all the heartache that we've been through, I was born in 87, so there's a lot of heartbreak there, So, but yeah, I say middle of the pack defense.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
think that's kind of that ceiling, right? Like if they can be just a league competent, league average defense, and the offense is good to go, and that's all I can really ask for there. I am curious what you guys, when you saw the schedule, what you guys think about what games that excite you the most. Obviously, they got Green Bay to start things off, which is going to be awesome at US Bank Stadium. Brand, I'll start with you. Are there any games that you're looking at that you're really excited the Vikings to play in this season?
So I have 3. Green Bay for another reason. I have a girlfriend who is a Packers fan, so that's very interesting. I love seeing them beat up on Aaron Rodgers. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is always a great test for our defense. I think any defense, especially with our young corners, first game, I think give us a real test for the corners. See how Andrew does and see how Lewisine does in the backfield instead of just hitting somebody. I have the Bills and Dallas as well. With Bills, I just think it's a test of defense for us. They're a high scoring team. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and also Dalvin Cook's brother as well. I think that'd be an interesting matchup. I think our corners will hold fine, but we have a hard time when we play real good scoring teams as well. So I can't say they might be able to handle it. They might not, but it's hard to say. And with the last game, Dallas, I just feel like that game last year was terrible, and they need to make up for that. It's not good to talk about. It wasn't a good look, and I think they're a way better team than that. And with Zim gone, I think with our new scheme, it set up a little better for high-scoring offensive teams. So we just have to wait and see. But I'd say Green Bay, Bills, and Dallas.
Yeah, those seems like really fun ones to watch. And, to your point that the Vikings defense can get carved up by good offense or good quarterbacks. I mean, outside of Rodgers a couple times, obviously they have Josh Allen. And if this time Dak Prescott is indeed healthy, I mean, the majority of their games, they actually don't have an opposing quarterback that scares you too much or that tilts the scale that much in the opponent's favor outside of the guys I just listed off the top there. And that's where I think the schedule's intriguing, right? Like Kirk kind of has the advantage where he's playing the opponents the Vikings are playing are inferior quarterbacks when you at least compare them to Kirk. The majority of them are on their schedule this year. So there is that chance that even though they're at 8.5, 9 wins, that if the Vikings defense holds up and the offense is what it is, that they should definitely hit the over of being a double-digit win team, which is what we talked about on the onslaught. But I'm excited for that Bills game too. Packers at home to start things is going to be a blast. Austin, what do you think, man? What games are you looking forward to this season?
Well, not any one game in particular, but what I am most excited for is Vent Line throughout the season. That if we have a nail-biting loss, I'm excited to listen to Vent Line, excited to call in, But all joking aside, the one I am looking forward to is the Patriots game on Thanksgiving. I don't have it's not about a competition type thing for me. It's just about being with family. See, I don't get to visit family a whole lot. They're like 4 hours away. I have my own family up here. So going back home, celebrating Thanksgiving, watching the Vikings play will bring back some of those childhood memories, with me. Well, I'll get to visit with my family and, relive the glory days, I guess, like the Randy Moss days and stuff, and like, that's what I'm most excited about. It's, that's all I got on that, guys.
Yeah. I love that. I love that for you, Austin. That's awesome. You get to spend time with the fam on Thanksgiving. I also really like that. The game's the third one. It's the nightcap of the evening, right? So selfishly, we can still stuff our face, enjoy the Thanksgiving foods and all the fun stuff that gets into that, and then you get to close the evening with a little bit of football, and it's your team that gets to play, right? And then it's gonna be a home game against the Cowboys, which should be a fun one too. I know I'm actually excited that they're number one, they get a Thanksgiving day, but then they also get a Thanksgiving game to wrap things up in the evening. I'm looking forward to it too, and after all the turkey and whatnot we're probably eating, I'm hoping I'm not dead asleep and sending out those Vikings Vent Line emails that you just talked about on the top, but. That's going to be a fun one, dude. I can't wait for it. Appreciate you listening to Vent Line, too. Obviously, it's a blast, and I'm excited to see which Vikings fans are all hopped up on their turkey and stuffing and pie after that one, and hopefully it's a Vikings win, Mac Jones had a really solid rookie season, and Bill Belichick's the greatest to ever do it probably as a head coach, but is the book out on Mac Jones enough where the Vikings can potentially, and other teams for that matter, get a win against the Patriots? I think that one's going to be a lot of fun, and potentially with it being a national televised game, probably going to be a good barometer to how the nation views the Vikings as well, and hopefully that's a Vikings win. I'm looking forward to it too, dude.
And it's huge for KOC too. Playing coaching against Belichick, as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of student versus master vibes right there, right? I mean, it should be a real fun test for the Vikes. What are your guys' expectations for the Vikings? Everyone that comes on Vikings Vent Line, I like to ask them this because everyone's answer kind of varies to a degree. Brand, I'll start with you. Well, what are your expectations for the Vikings this season?
I think it's a win or bust season, honestly. I think it's hard to say. I think with Kirk Cousins, we have a winning quarterback, but just can't find a way to win. I feel like we're always there in the game, and our second half performances are always, sorry to say, but lousy, very lousy. It's like they give up in the locker room. So expectations are really high. I love this team. I love the young corners. I love the new safety. I think it's a new type of safety, is just a hard hitting, cover the field, just get down and dirty type safety. I think that's something that we're missing, especially with the guidance of Harrison Smith. Very, very, very high expectations of this team. I think on paper, our offense looks phenomenal. You can put us up against anybody on paper, and we're a top 5, top 10 team, and that means something. And with the new system, hopefully Kevin brings a lot of just trickery. I think it'd be nice to see more deep balls, more getting more running backs involved. We have Nguanu, and we have the new running back from North Carolina. So I think with everything we have, it's a Super Bowl winning team. That line just has the hold up. I really believe that we can win a Super Bowl here in the next 2 to 3 years. But if we can't get it done with Kirk Cousins this year, I think it's over for him. I think we get rid of him. We look in the draft. If we have to rebuild for a year or two, or just get a bridge quarterback, I'm fine with that. But Kirk Cousins should get us there. If Stafford can get the Rams to the Super Bowl, then Kirk should be able to get us here. So as long as Jefferson, Thielen, Cook, and our defense shows up to at least a top 5 to top 15 team, I think we have really high hopes with this team.
You wrap a lot of buzzwords there, that you want the offense to be top 5, confusing other teams, that illusion of complexity that Kevin O'Connell has been basically phrasing since he got hired. And yeah, you just, even though there's going to be some growing pains probably, as a first-year head coach, You'd like to think that with the pieces in place, as you said, you stack it up and you look at it on paper, stack up that offense against other ones, just coaching aside, and it should be a top 5, top 10 offense. And unfortunately, it hasn't been last year, and mostly because of head coaching. And so if that philosophy changes and it's unlocked, and Kirk Cousins and Jefferson and Thielen and Dalvin Cook can all be those players that they're supposed to be, and then, this offense should be able to cook, and then eventually that translates to wins, and hopefully it's a long playoff run. I think there's, that tempered expectations with the rookie head coach, and no rookie head coaches have really stepped in right away outside of Sean McVay and made that lasting implant. But thank goodness Kevin O'Connell's from that coaching tree, and hopefully that the Vikings have the similar trajectory as the Rams. Sean McVay was there 4 or 5 years, and they've made a Super Bowl. They've been to 2. They won one last year with Stafford, and they saw early on that Jared Goff wasn't going to be that guy, so they upgraded to Matthew Stafford, who at the end of the day, to your point, Brandon, is a lot like Kirk Cousins. So can the Vikings find that similar kind of vein and have those expectations that the Rams did, and can they fulfill them? Austin, what about you, man? What are your expectations for the Vikings this season?
My personal expectations is that I know it's going to be a roller coaster type of season. As we both said, 10-7, there's going to be some good wins and good losses there. As we know that our expectations as Viking fans in general are generally pretty high, because these athletes, they make millions of dollars. They get to play the game they love. You expect the best version of themselves out there. And with Kirk, with Dalvin, with Justin Jefferson, are they committed to the craft? Is Kirk committed to his job? We just don't know. The jury's still out on that, and he doesn't answer any of Judd's questions, and he just goes around it all the time. And I know Judd's just trying to pry and pry and pry. I just don't know about Kirk, man. He's making all this money, and is he 100% committed to the craft? My expectations generally is going to be pretty even keel until proven otherwise, because ideally we haven't won a Super Bowl yet. We haven't been into the Super Bowl in 30, 40 years. Until we win the big one, our expectations, they have to be even keel. They have to be generally low. We haven't been proven otherwise. So that's all I got on that, fellas.
Yeah, we're hungry for it, right? It's been 50, 60 years, their entire franchise. They haven't won a Super Bowl, and that's all we want to see. It's the mission statement on this show is we want to see a Super Bowl before we die. And thankfully, yeah, we're hungry for it. We want to see this. And at the end of the day, Kirk, if he is that dude, and I think we're going to see a big proving grounds of that, they're basically running it back with a lot of the same roster pieces as last year because they thought coaching was the thing that was really holding this team back from being a double-digit win team, from being a Super Bowl contending team. But in the NFL, you don't get a lot of time necessarily to say, hey, no, hold off. This is going to be a while. It's like a baseball rebuild where it takes 3 to 4 years. You don't get that luxury here. And with Kirk, it's to both of your points. He's got to do it now. If not now, when is he going to do it? He's 34 years old. He's making a lot of money. And when you're paid a lot of money, and whether fans agree with this or not, there's expectations, dude. And you have to live up to that contract. And I think with KOC, I'm willing to give them the chance that the offense should be damn good this year, and Kirk can finally live up to that mold and buck a lot of trends that this show and fans and listeners of this show have had questions about throughout his entire Vikings tenure. So I'm hoping he does it too, fellas. I hope he can do it, and the Vikings can actually compete for a Super Bowl. I am going to give you guys a little space here. Is there any last take you'd like to give? Last week I had like some ridiculous hot takes that a couple fans dropped. I also gave you guys a chance to give a shout out. Brandon, what do you have for a last take before we wrap up here?
I'll probably give a shout out to my girlfriend here, Sierra. I'm pretty sure she's gonna watch once that episode airs on Sunday. Just thank you for being there for me, helping me become the man I am today, and I love you. That's about it. And
look at that. Vikings Packers love right there.
Hopefully that first game is a win as well, because I love rubbing it in her face, and her pretend boyfriend Post Malone loves the Dallas Cowboys, so I hope we beat up on them as well.
Look at that. You got two enemies there. You got the Packers, you got the Cowboys with your gal. That's you're fighting two-edged swords right there. Good luck to you, Brandon.
Appreciate it.
Good luck to you. Yeah. Austin, what about you, man? Any last take or anyone you want to shout out before we wrap up?
I actually got a take. But also, the take I have is with Kirk Cousins. Okay. Actually, let me give a shout out to my girlfriend and my kids and my family, all my softball homeboys. Nice. McQuaid's Distribution out of Bismarck. I don't know if you guys ever heard of McQuaid's, but it's going to be coming up here in a couple of weeks. Awesome time. If you love playing softball. But yeah, the hot take I have is I compared Kirk Cousins' contract to a bad auto loan I was in a few years back. Okay.
Okay.
I had a brand new 2019 Dodge Journey. Excited, first time car buyer, very excited. Standard edition, didn't even have Bluetooth, right? But it was a safe, reliable car, got me to where I wanted to go, but it was too small. It didn't look very good, but it got me to where I needed to go. That's what we need a car for, right? But once I made that first payment, I didn't like that car anymore. over $500 a month for a basic standard vehicle that has no Bluetooth. The rear view backup mirror is in the mirror right there. And it was a bad auto loan. And, I eventually got out of that, long story short. But that's what I compare his contract to, he's a bad auto loan, and once we end that loan, I think we can move on to something greater that like I have. And that's the take I have with that. And one more thing is the loan deal has a high interest rate, right?
Yeah.
30,
Right.
30 some percent. If we can cut Kirk's interest rate down, if he was a $20 million a year quarterback, we would be happy, right? We'd be happy. It would be, he's average, paying him $20 million. We can build all these pieces around him. But if he breaks down on us, you know, we can't be mad at what happens after that, you know. I mean, I don't know if you guys want Sean Mannion as our starting quarterback for the year.
No way.
And as
Never.
Kirk Collinsworth says, you know, he must have did his homework or something. Oh, Sean Mannion throws a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, you know. I remember that from the games last year.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah. So that's the last take I got, guys. And yeah, I appreciate the content. It's I appreciate what you do, Declan, to live your dream, talk Vikings all day and do what you do, man. It's got to be pretty awesome.
Appreciate that, Austin. Thank you for the kind words, man. Yeah, I love the auto loan comparison. I have a nice 2017 RAV. It's got some bells, but not all the whistles. But it's an affordable car. I knew what I was getting into. I knew what I was laying down, and it's a nice deal for both sides. Gets to where I need to go. I'm going to keep the car for a long time. But the Vikings signed up for a very expensive car that doesn't have all the bells and whistles, right? It's all about what you expected from that initial loan. I love the comparison there, dude. Excellent one there.
I have another shout out. That's fine.
Go for it, Brandon.
Told my brother I'd do it. Love him to death. If you see the hat, it's just his brand. He's having a event at Johnson High School in St. Paul, June 19th, from 2 to 8. If you guys want to stop by, have some food, have some fun, and hopefully buy some merch. That's all I wanted to say. I told him I'd get it on there.
I love it. Go Govies. I know the East Side, so I was a Central guy. I went to Central High School, but I grew up on the East Side and friends and family that went to Johnson, so I know
I went
very
to Tartan,
well.
so far away.
Gotcha. For Austin, Brandon, thank you, dude, so much for coming on Vikings Vent Line. If anyone wants to come on a future episode, shoot me an email. It's vikingsventline@gmail.com. Mackie, Judd, myself, back tomorrow on Monday. We'll see you guys later.